Hi, I'm Chloe and I'm the founder of TSAP Travel. I'm also the programme lead here in Madagascar. Lastly, Bryony's going to introduce herself now.
I'm Bryony. I'm working for Chloe in the Sunset Strays project for rescuing and rehoming dogs in Madagascar.
Cool. And today we're going to do like a bit of a Q&A about what we do here, what it's like in Madagascar, and some people are asking questions on Instagram, so we're just going to answer them really. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Power of editing, I'm sure. I'll get up the first question. Okay, the first one is, how do you decide which projects to undertake in Madagascar? Basically, we just talk to the local people and see what they want and where we can help, and then that's how we make decisions. We also, because we come from the West, we've got like different insights into what potentially could be done and projects that have happened around the world previously. So we bring a lot of our knowledge here as well, but it's mainly about listening to the local people, finding out what they want, looking at what our skills are within the team, and then delivering projects. So like, I never wanted to teach English here as a foreign language. There's a lot of companies here that teach English as a foreign language, but it's one of our most successful projects. It's something that's really welcomed by the community and very much wanted. So we did that. We started that a couple of years ago and we've been teaching English ever since. And then from more of like a Western perspective, we quite like dogs in the West, but they don't really like them here, apart from a few people within the community. So we're bringing our wealth of knowledge to try and encourage them and understand how useful dogs can be in like day-to-day life, and like as more of like a personal thing, as a best friend, as protection, stuff like that.
I mean, we've had a lot of conversations with the locals and just with the other people who work with TSAP Travel, and a lot of this year's answers have been finding jobs for the young people at the English classes, and basically just that mainly this year.
So employment is a big thing, like if helping people find employment. There's a lot of unemployment here. So here's a good one for you. How do you find adjusting to being in Madagascar? How different is it?
It is very different. It's a whole different lifestyle, and I feel like that's probably quite obvious because
we're in Africa.
We're in Africa. We're not in England anymore. But it is just like a whole other world. I think there's a lot of differences in culture here in the UK, and especially Western culture. I think the one thing that I've had to get used to most is more and more culture, which is slowly. So nobody really does anything immediately here, which has been quite hard because at home obviously you're quite used to just getting everything when you want, and it's like everything is just instant, immediate, like you want it and you get it. But here is very, very different. Like, we'll have conversations with people about certain projects and certain things that we want to do, and it's like it's a slow process. It does happen, but it just happens a bit more in your own time. It's a bit less, like, it's actually quite nice because it's not rushed. You never feel like you're under pressure to do anything, but then there's also that kind of internal pressure that you then feel from that. I feel like that's one thing that I've been struggling with most.
It's the internal pressure that's more so, like, everyone's here so relaxed, like they're just so pleased to see us and for us to be here. We could literally
they just want to spend time with us.
We could literally just be here and do no like community development work, and they'd be so happy. They'd just be really excited that we're here, like having a good time, and we fund their English classes. But there's no rushing. It's, patience is key. And it's something that I think is really beneficial to learn as well. It's like I've definitely, because it's my 6th time here, I've definitely become a lot more accepting of it. I'm just like, this is how it works.
Like, it's just how it is. I feel like the general lifestyle of a lot of the locals as well, that's another thing that is a massive culture shock, because obviously, again, Western culture, everybody's got very built up houses. Even if you're struggling with money, you still have a house with 4 walls, with a door and a kitchen. And it's like, that is not common here at all. Like, people will cook their dinner on a fire outside of their house, and it's like, that was quite surprising when I first came here. I knew that obviously it's very different. It is Africa, it's a developing country, but not Africa as a country, Madagascar as a country. But yeah, where was I going with that?
It's just very different. Like you went up to Gladys's house on the first day, didn't you? And she's one of our key staff members. She lives in a Malagasy house, and she's got 2 rooms.
Exactly, it's got 2 rooms. The roof is made out of metal sheets. It's not like a Western house where it's, you know,
makes it very hot in the sun as well.
You've got, it's like really hot, and there is no break from that. It's never not hot. It's just constantly like burning. But lots of people's houses are like that over here, and it's just they have to accept that and live with it because there's nothing else.
Yeah, that's just that's their home.
That's
and
just how they exist.
They haven't really experienced anything different. Like they know it exists. Like we live in like quite a normal like Western house, but they like it. They're accustomed to it, and
I mean, I have noticed just nobody seems unhappy. Like I've not met one person yet, even in the local area where we live, who is genuinely unhappy. They're all smiling all the time, they're all chatting to each other because there's a very strong sense of community here, and I think that's a very important factor in how they live.
They all say hello as well. Like,
exactly.
They all want to like say hi.
They all want to chat, they all want to say hi.
Talk to us, which is nice. Here's a good one. What's the food like?
Oh, so I'm quite a picky eater. I always have been. I've kind of struggled with like trying new foods and things like that. So coming here has like been a massive change for me.
First day though, and you tried something new.
That is very true. First day, and I tried bone broth for the first time. Really enjoyed it. So far, it's been really, really good.
It's easy to find the food that you like.
Exactly.
We've had pizza a couple of times.
We have had pizza a couple of times. We've had pasta almost every day and noodles, but it's slightly different.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, normal pasta that you'd have at home.
Yeah, you're not.
It's like we have local veg and
we don't just buy like jarred food. It's always
exactly.
Like, fresh tomatoes and well, whatever vegetable we can get our hands on, really, which isn't that much here. Like in comparison to England, because it's all seasonal. Like depending on what the season is, you can access different fruit and vegetables.
Definitely.
Like at the moment, you can't get any avocados because it's not avocado season.
Exactly. So, that kind of makes it more exciting though, because then you actually have to wait for those things, and you're looking forward to it instead of just being like, oh, I really fancy an avocado, and just go and buy one, and then it doesn't make it as special. So yeah, it has been really good though. I've been enjoying the food. It's very different. The street food was a very big surprise.
Tried a fried banana as well.
Yep, tried a fried banana.
You haven't been unwell yet either.
Nice. I haven't been unwell.
That's a big win.
That's been really nice. So glad I haven't got food poisoning yet. So that's good. Hopefully, fingers crossed I don't. But we'll see. But yeah, no, the street food actually has been one of my favourite parts so far, because I didn't expect it to be such a community-based thing. It's just like when you think of street food, either in the UK, in any kind of westernised country, it's like a food truck on the street and you take your food and you leave, and it's like takeaway. But here there's tables in the streets and everybody sits together and eats, and you can help yourself to as much as you want. Obviously you have to pay for whatever you have, but you can have as much food as you would like. You all sit there together, and it's like very just, I don't know, it's just quite nice. It's very different.
Yeah, very communal.
But it's, like, it's nice, like you just meet
you're not
new people
sat
naturally.
like at your own table in a restaurant. Like you're all just sat next to each other. You stand there and wait for people to get up so that you can go and sit down.
Like it's like a buffet with a massive table in front of it, and it's like it's really nice.
And they have drinks and stuff there as well. So yeah, it's I like to call it like Madagascar's version of fast food, because it is quite quick. Like you don't really hang out there and take time. Like you sit down, eat your dinner, have a drink, head off, and you're not rushed. I mean, the same as going to McDonald's or somewhere. You don't feel rushed, but the whole experience is quite quick in comparison to like if we go and get pizza, because they stone bake them all. That takes quite a lot of time. Like they have to roll it out usually and stuff. So we're just
but all the food is like ready immediately. Also, you see everybody cooking it.
Like
it's all just
order
there.
Like skewers, like they just chuck it on the fire and you like watch them whilst you
exactly.
bake.
Like you can see how your food's cooked. You can see, you know, the whole process really, which is actually quite nice, because also, again, picky eater, it's peace of mind, being able to see it being cooked and know like
You know where it's
what's
come
going into
from,
it.
yeah.
You know, so it's quite nice to be able to experience that. But,
yeah, I love it. Like, street food is a big win for me, and it's so cheap as well.
Oh,
like
it
versus
is.
like going and getting
That
a
makes
pizza,
it
going
even
and getting
better.
street food. Yeah, like we don't live in Hellville at the moment, which is like the main city on the island that we're on, and that's where all the main street food is. And there's street food here, but it's just not
It's
like
not
it's
the
not the
same.
same. It's not
No.
the same vibe.
it's a lot of a bigger thing in Hellville. So we're in Ambassador,
Yeah.
and whenever, because obviously we walked through in the evening at around dinner time, there are street food places. It's just a lot smaller.
Yeah.
It goes probably for about 4 or 5
Yeah,
people.
versus like the 10 to 15 people that sit
Definitely,
around at
if not
Hellville.
more. Like,
yeah.
it's just as many people you can fit on that bench, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, here's another good one. What's your typical, or I'll start by typical day, because this
Okay.
one says week, and then we can go for week.
Okay.
So we've been here 2 weeks together.
Yeah.
So what's your typical day like?
Honestly, I would say there is no typical day.
Literally, I was so
Like,
the same.
it changes from day to day. It depends on what we want to achieve that day, if it's a weekday or a weekend, if we have an excursion. So on a day where we have work, I would say we've typically gotten into a what's it called?
What, like a routine?
Yeah, a routine. I'd say we've typically gotten into a routine of kind of just getting up, having breakfast, like not getting up super early either,
No.
like around 9, probably 10, and then kind of just relaxing in the morning for a little bit. Then midday, go down to the beach. There's a lot of like beach cafes and beach bars and things. So just like different hotels and stuff like that where you can get Wi-Fi and you can just sit with your laptop. As long as you buy a drink there, they don't really mind. And just work there for a few hours. Do just a bit of admin work, usually just like making posters for letting the locals know what we're doing in the local area, making PowerPoints for lessons and things like that. And then that's basically all of our work for the day, and we come back, have lunch.
Sometimes we'll go to English class as
Yeah.
well, and
in the evening,
yeah, a lot of
English
stuff
class.
happens here in the evenings. It's an interesting one because like the next few days will never be the same. Remember, like people wanted to come to Madagascar asking me that. I'm like, oh, it's really hard because you
can't
just never
describe
know
one
what's
day.
gonna happen,
No.
what's gonna prop up. Like if we've got one of our local staff members coming over for a meeting, or maybe a great example yesterday, like Jamel's motorbike broke down, so
Exactly.
then he couldn't make it to the meeting. So
'cause
that
we're meant to have a
kind of
planning
just got
morning for a few
cancelled.
hours, and it just didn't end up happening
So
because
yeah,
we got stranded
we
on the
do
side of the
rely
road.
on the locals to show up quite a lot. Like there's certain things that we can do without them, where we go and do like admin, and then we'll go and do more activity-based stuff in the evening. But then we also just don't know what will crop up. Like sometimes we get invited to meetings that are like partner organisations put on. Sometimes we're like called down to like maybe go and collect something, or have a conversation about an upcoming project. But it's a lot of planning, and because you as a changemaker, like you pay to be here, there's no expectation for people to plan before they come. So the idea is you come here, and then that's when all of the planning begins. And then depending on how long you're here for, then influences like how much downtime you have. Because if you're here for a short amount of time, it's like, right, we need to get stuff
so you
done.
kind of need to crack on.
Bryony's
get
here
stuff done.
for 86 days, so we're getting so much stuff done, but very much within the realms of like Malagasy culture and life.
So it's very Mora Mora in this house. And that's quite nice as well, because it's like on some days, we were talking about this the other day actually, we feel like we're like, oh, we haven't achieved anything today, we feel like we haven't really done that much, but then we just kind of take a step back, have a look at actually what we have done since we've been here. Bear in mind also it's only been 2 weeks. We have actually achieved quite a lot since we've been here, and it's like you kind of just need to get out of your head a little bit about it, because you can get stuck into that Western culture of, okay, I need to do so many things all at once, I've got so much like on my plate, and it's like it is so much slower here that you don't see the progress you're making immediately.
It's like we're doing the Sunset Strays project where we're rescuing the street dogs, and we've probably spent what 6 6 hours, if not more, because we have to travel
Yeah.
to where the dog is. But we're trying to rescue and rehome a puppy and a mum at the moment, and we've literally just spent like 6 to 8 hours there
Yeah.
working on building the mum's trust and getting the
Sitting by
dog.
the shack.
And it's really easy to be like, oh, you know, we could have picked up a different dog off the street and rehomed them, but it's one of those things, like we were saying to you yesterday, it's like you always do mother and children first. And that's
Definitely.
kind of like the headspace we've got ourselves
Yeah.
into, and that we're spending a lot of time doing that. But we know that the impact that's going to have, not only for the dog and the puppy, but for the community, will be
Definitely.
huge.
Yeah.
And I think perspective is so important. And I've been here so
100%.
many times, and even I like lack that perspective sometimes. Like, no, I want to do more. But there's a lot that holds us back as well. Like, we have financial constraints, which means we can't hire as many people to support us. We can't pay to put on as many events. So we do what we can within what we have, with the goal to have a really big presence so we can grow in the future and do even more stuff like this, which is
Exactly.
really exciting.
Yeah.
So with that, what's a typical week like? You've been here too.
Oh, a typical week. So
The same as the days.
Yeah, same as the days. You really can't predict what's going to happen. You can have a rough idea.
Yeah, you can
and
have
it
an
may or may
outline.
not happen.
Yeah, completely.
But if it doesn't happen that day or that week, it will happen next or the next. You know, it's just, it's not like
We're
it
a lot of
never
waiting on the
happens.
community, and the
Definitely.
community will eventually pull through. It just takes them a bit of time.
It does, yeah, and that's absolutely fine, because we're not here to rush anybody.
No.
We're not here to interrupt their days or their life generally.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're just here for when they need us, when they want our help, when we can aid them. Just, you know, they can let us know and we can be there.
And then when we've got our stuff planned in. So typically, a typical week probably means 2 or 3 English classes.
yeah,
We either go and observe or like participate in a conversation class. So
Which
that's
those have
really
been really
nice.
interesting so
really
far.
good. Nice to see our teachers teach as well, because we have local teachers that teach even when we're not here.
yeah,
Probably a few beach swims.
yeah. Definitely a few beach swims. Just generally spending time at the beach.
Yeah.
It's been really nice to go down and have that difference between working at the beach and then spending like downtime at the beach, because you still get to enjoy the peace of it, the view, just generally being there.
Yeah.
And then if we want to, which a lot of times we have, we've just gone, actually I'm going to go sit on the beach for a bit in the middle of working, go for a swim, and you know, spend half an hour down there and then come back and carry on.
A lot of cooking as well. We do a lot of cooking. A lot of washing up.
Yeah.
A lot of washing up.
Oh,
That's like
the
a
washing up does feel
constant,
endless, I have
like
to say.
every time, because we cook so much, because
Yeah.
we enjoy it,
Yeah.
and we like trying
making our own
yeah,
food as
new
well,
things.
I feel.
Yeah. And experimenting with like the ingredients we have,
Mm-hmm.
but then just so much washing up.
Yeah.
Good amount of admin, and just lots of conversations with locals. Like
Yeah.
we do try and do as many engagements as possible.
We like to be involved in the community
yeah,
rather than
we're
be
not just
separate.
tourists, so
No.
we have a lot of conversation. We put a lot of time into learning a bit of the language as well, so that we can have those conversations with locals. So we do a lot of engagements, probably at least like 5 decent engagements a
Definitely.
day, if
Yeah.
not more, depending on what we're doing.
Exactly.
And
And it will
is
be
really
with all
nice.
different people,
Yeah.
either people involved in TSAP Travel already and just generally who we already work with, or it will just be random strangers that we just meet.
Beach
on the
sellers.
street. Yeah, beach
lot of
sellers.
beach sellers.
A lot of beach sellers. But yeah, I mean, we have lots of interactions with so many different locals from so many different parts of life, and you know, it's really interesting to see all the different types of jobs and stuff like that, and who we come across based on that.
Yeah, I think it's easy to think that like those engagements aren't very worthwhile. It's like, oh, I've just gone out, I've been having a drink, but it honestly has such an impact, and we know that because of like what we've seen happen in previous years, and also what we've learned from local people is really useful. Like, we met a local guy the other day who was talking about other English classes that he'd attended on the island, and that was really good market research for us, because it shows us what we were doing right, but also how we can improve as a company as well, which is so important, because we want people to come and get the most out of our conversation classes or English classes in general. So we're just always learning. I think think it's a big thing.
Absolutely.
We're always trying to figure out, understand like what's going on, how we can help, and what help people actually want and need, instead of just coming in and doing our own thing, because we want people to show up and like attend stuff.
Yeah, because it's like we're here to help the people, we're here to work with them. We're not here to just do random things that we want to do and then leave and it have zero impact on the community and the people, because it's like that's completely not the point of being here. It's like we're here to help, we're here to also try and extend our knowledge, try and help them grow as people, help businesses grow, and just generally like
just empowerment's like a big thing, like empowering the local community to be more than what they believe they can be, because with limited access to education and in internet as well, which is even that is limited access to education, then they don't realise what their potential could be without being provided those opportunities or just that insight and stuff. And it's not been nice to see it, like obviously I've been here so many times, to see it grow as well. And like we always say, like next year when we come back and we see less dogs on the streets because they're in homes, like that will be such a big win.
It would just be satisfying.
And the thing is, it's probably not even going to be through people that we talk to, it will be through us rehoming a small number of dogs and then them sharing their experience with the community.
And that's the main aim. It's not for us to have to be here all the time and to do the work ourselves and kind of be the main like catalysts for that, but it's for the locals to then take it on, kind of go, okay, that was a really positive thing that they did in the community, so we're going to do that as well, and we're going to carry it on, and we're going to try and expand it and let it grow.
And we've seen that through like beach cleans. Like we started a beach clean project last year, and like that continues today without any help from us. They just do it off their own back. They were like, this is actually a good idea, we're going to continue that. And then we're actually doing one in a couple of weeks, but in a different location, but with the same organisation, because they just do it in the same place. So we're excited to expand that, and hopefully by us expanding it, when we go again, they'll just do it by themselves, because they don't need us. I think that's where people go wrong. They don't need us at all. They need our influence, a bit of our help. They need some money, but they don't really need us.
An initial push in the right direction, and that's it. And it's like that's all we're here to do, really. It's like we're not here to come in and completely change their world, completely change their whole lives, because that's absolutely not the aim. It's just to kind of try and put positive impact on certain things to help them, like learning
they've got
English.
much better ideas than us.
Absolutely.
Like, that's why we talk to them so much. We're like, what do you think we should do? Like, we've got ideas, but like, what are your ideas? And sometimes we're sat there and we're like, oh my god, that's such a good idea. Like, we'll do that. We'll help you do that. Like, what do you need from us? Because again, like we don't want to have to come back all the time. Like, it's a beautiful country. Like, we went to the Cascades at the weekend, and we're going to the Cascades this weekend as well, but to a different waterfall, which is exciting. It's a beautiful country to see and to be part of the community. But we can't wait to like bring people in and be like, look at what they achieved, because it's not actually anything to do with us. It's all what they did.
Exactly. And it's like that's the main like satisfaction that we'll get out of this, is just being able to see like, oh, we've done the groundwork for this, but actually you've taken it and made it into what it is, and that's
and you've seen that firsthand with the English classes, like just coming and attending them.
Like they're amazing. Like we haven't really, like we've seen the English classes, we participated in one of them, but we usually just go in and we sit and we observe and like just chat with the students when they talk to us and stuff like that. And it's like, but generally just seeing the teachers do their thing, it's just lovely to see, because all the students are so engaged and they really want to learn. And I think that's the most satisfying part of it, is because you can see how much of an impact this is having on their lives. Because I've had a conversation with a few of the people in the English classes, and they're all young people between, I would say, like 18 and 26 mainly.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, and I was having a conversation the other day with one of the students, and he was saying how the reason he wants to learn English isn't just because obviously it will benefit his life, it will make him able to travel and communicate with people easier, but also he just really enjoys the language. He just thinks it's a lovely language. He wants to learn it just because it's a skill. And it's just nice to see people with that sort of passion that actually want to learn. because I feel like education is taken for granted a lot
Yeah,
in the UK
definitely.
and just in Western culture, because it's accessible for everybody. So here it's just really, really nice to see people who crave to learn so much.
Yeah, because very, very little education is free in Madagascar, so any free education that they can access is a very big positive for them. Yeah. Do you have any questions for me? Or putting you on the hot seat?
You are putting me on the hot seat now. Do I have any questions for you? What would you say is your biggest achievement that you feel you've done so far with TSAP?
Gladys. So Gladys is like my best friend. I've known her for 5 years. She used to work in a hostel that closed during COVID, and we became good friends back in 2022. And last year I hired her as one of our main English teachers. And
she's very good.
Yeah.
She loves it.
And she is such a strong, independent woman that stands quite, on the outside of Malagasy culture in just how she's an independent woman that lives alone and isn't married and is in her mid-20s. But my greatest achievement is like enabling her to live a life that really fulfills her. We helped her set up, Yasmin and Patrick, who were here a couple of years ago, helped her set up like her vanilla business. So she sells vanilla and she's a guide, and all of this stuff, like she does it. Like, we empowered her, we filmed some marketing materials, we printed off some flyers, but it was all her. And I think she's a real representation of like what can be achieved with just some positive influence. Like, she never wanted to be an English teacher, and she was like, she didn't think she could do it, and she's been teaching with us for a year now. And it's making me emotional just thinking about it. Like, when I watch her teach English, it's like the fact that she thought she could never do it, and she does it 4 times a week, every week, and she lives a good life, and that's just like so precious. We want to be able to give that to other people. Like, we all deserve that opportunity, no matter where we're from or the world that we live in, the country that we live in. And I just love being able to say that we've given her that life, and she's given herself that life. Like, she earns money outside of the things that we pay her for through her guiding and like vanilla and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just great to have been able to see her grow, and in the past 5 years she's come so far, and so have I. And it's because we're really good friends and we get along so well, and we push each other to be better and help each other to be better as well. And it's just really actually quite emotional. Such a powerful thing.
Exactly.
And she's hilarious. She's like the funniest person ever.
Is.
Winds me up all the time. But we love her. She's great. She's so
just
funny.
Fantastic. Like, I feel like she is such an inspiration because she has chosen a very different lifestyle than a lot of Malagasy women here. And she's worked so hard to be where she is today. She's built this whole life for herself. You've given her the push to do that, and she's taken it and she's ran with it. And now she's doing 3 different jobs. Yeah. And she's made a really lovely life for herself. And she has like a great work-life balance as well. Like, she doesn't work full time. She spends a lot of time doing like chilling, relaxing, just living her life, and earns like enough money to live the life that she wants to live in England. And she's very in some ways very privileged as a Malagasy person, where she wants to earn more money, she can just go out and earn it, just sell more vanilla, do guide work. But it's people like that, and Jamel comes under that as well, who also works with us. But being able to have that influence on the locals, and that they've actually welcomed it as well, and they've wanted our help, it makes what we do a lot more possible, because without their help we wouldn't be here. No, exactly.
And it's just having that level of connection with them so good.
I think it's always nice as well when it goes from just kind of working relationship to a real friendship, because you two are so close. You're like each other's soulmate. It's lovely to see as well, because it's like seeing her grow and work so hard must be so just satisfying and relieving to be able to have been a part of that as well. We always say like we'll have to get her like to do one of these as well, because we're the same age, we're both 25, and we're always like,
two completely different countries, two very different cultures, you know, different religious beliefs as well, to find each other and be so close. Like, we just think it's insane. And Gladys will always say that God brought us together because she's very religious, and I love that. Like that, you know, there's got to be something in that. I think like that's not
something
just out
has
of
brought
nowhere.
you together.
Yeah, like it's so crazy. And yeah, it's one of those friendships that just, it shouldn't work on paper, like should not be a thing.
I mean,
but it really does.
you would never have met if you hadn't even had the idea for TSAP Travel. And
no, well, we met when I came to Madagascar 5 years ago, and I didn't think she spoke any English, so I didn't think so. Which is hilarious, because now 5 years later,
I love that. Yeah, that literally you didn't speak for the longest time, and just knew of each other.
When I came back.
But it was never like, it wasn't like an immediate friendship. It wasn't like a connection that was just
if I'd never come back from back to Madagascar, never would have been friends. Like, she wouldn't be doing what she does now. Like, it's crazy how, like, the decisions, I would say life is a series of choices, and you have to hope that you make the right ones. It's like those choices led to like these positive outcomes, which is so lucky. I think we might leave it there.
Yeah,
we've done quite well.
I think that's quite good.
Right, thanks everyone.
Yep, thank you for listening.
We did half an hour. I'm gonna record that.